French, and Portuguese, the languages that unite 1 billion people. We have been there through every shift, every milestone, and every triumph, not just reporting history, but shaping the conversations that define Africa's future. For brands, media planning, and advertisers, Channel Africa is more than just a platform. It's an opportunity. With 25 compelling shows covering current affairs, sports, business, music, and lifestyle, we deliver an engaging Pan-African audience ready to connect, invest, and act. Multi-award winning, internationally recognized, digitally accessible across the globe. When Africa speaks, the world listens, and Channel Africa makes sure of it. For business, for culture, for Africa, partner with Channel Africa because Africa's voice is the future. Africa is a story, a living, breathing, ever-evolving masterpiece. And for over 5 decades now, one voice has told it like no other. Channel Africa. More than just a broadcaster, Channel Africa is the pulse of the continent, African-led, African-run, and deeply rooted in its heritage. It's the only international station that speaks to Africa in its own voices: English, Kiswahili, Chinyanja, French, and Portuguese, the languages that unite 1 billion people. We have been there through every shift, every milestone, and every triumph, not just reporting history, but shaping the conversations that define Africa's future. For brands, media planning, and advertisers, Channel Africa is more than just a platform. It's an opportunity. With 25 compelling shows covering current affairs, sports, business, music, and lifestyle, we deliver an engaging Pan-African audience ready to connect, invest, and act. Multi-award winning, internationally recognized, digitally accessible across the globe. When Africa speaks, the world listens, and Channel Africa makes sure of it. For business, for culture, for Africa, partner with Channel Africa because Africa's voice is the future. Africa is a story, a living, breathing, ever-evolving masterpiece. And for over 5 decades now, one voice has told it like no other. Channel Africa. More than just a broadcaster, Channel Africa is the pulse of the continent, African-led, African-run, and deeply rooted in its heritage. It's the only international station that speaks to Africa in its own voices: English, Kiswahili, Chinyanja, French, and Portuguese, the languages that unite 1 billion people. We have been there through every shift, every milestone, and every triumph, not just reporting history, but shaping the conversations that define Africa's future. For brands, media planning, and advertisers, Channel Africa is more than just a platform. It's an opportunity. With 25 compelling shows covering current affairs, sports, business, music, and lifestyle, we deliver an engaging Pan-African audience ready to connect, invest, and act. Multi-award winning, internationally recognized, digitally accessible across the globe. When Africa speaks, the world listens, and Channel Africa makes sure of it. For business, for culture, for Africa, partner with Channel Africa because Africa's voice is the future. Africa is a story, a living, breathing, ever-evolving masterpiece. And for over 5 decades now, one voice has told it like no other. Channel Africa. More than just a broadcaster, Channel Africa is the pulse of the continent, African-led, African-run, and deeply rooted in its heritage. It's the only international station that speaks to Africa in its own voices: English, Kiswahili, Chinyanja, French, and Portuguese. The languages that unite 1 billion people. We have been there through every shift, every milestone, and every triumph. Not just reporting history, but shaping the conversations that define Africa's future. For brands, media planning, and advertisers, Channel Africa is more than just a platform. It's an opportunity. With 25 compelling shows covering current affairs, sports, business, music, and lifestyle, we deliver an engaging Pan-African audience ready to connect, invest, and act. Multi-award winning, internationally recognized, digitally accessible across the globe. When Africa speaks, the world listens, and Channel Africa makes sure of it. For business, for culture, for Africa, partner with Channel Africa, because Africa's voice is the future. Africa is a story, a living, breathing, ever-evolving masterpiece. And for over 5 decades now, one voice has told it like no other: Channel Africa. More than just a broadcaster, Channel Africa is the pulse of the continent, African-led, African-run, and deeply rooted in its heritage. It's the only international station that speaks to Africa in its own voices: English, Kiswahili, Chinyanja, French, and Portuguese. The languages that unite 1 billion people. We have been there through every shift, every milestone, and every triumph. Not just reporting history, but shaping the conversations that define Africa's future. For brands, media planning, and advertisers, Channel Africa is more than just a platform. It's an opportunity. With 25 compelling shows covering current affairs, sports, business, music, and lifestyle, we deliver an engaging Pan-African audience ready to connect, invest, and act. Multi-award winning, internationally recognized, digitally accessible across the globe. When Africa speaks, the world listens, and Channel Africa makes sure of it. For business, for culture, for Africa, partner with Channel Africa, because Africa's voice is the future. Africa is a story, a living, breathing, ever-evolving masterpiece. And for over 5 decades now, one voice has told it like no other: Channel Africa. More than just a broadcaster, Channel Africa is the pulse of the continent, African-led, African-run, and deeply rooted in its heritage. It's the only international station that speaks to Africa in its own voices: English, Kiswahili, Chinyanja, French, and Portuguese. The languages that unite 1 billion people. We have been there through every shift, every milestone, and every triumph. Not just reporting history, but shaping the conversations that define Africa's future. For brands, media planning, and advertisers, Channel Africa is more than just a platform. It's an opportunity. With 25 compelling shows covering current affairs, sports, business, music.
D'être entendu. Eh bien, nous avons la plateforme parfaite pour toi. Téléphone-nous ou fais-nous un WhatsApp au +27 66 408 87 42 et nous te rappellerons. Sois dans la conversation.
Salut Channel Africa, ici Beno le diamant rouge aka Binalex Sport depuis le Cameroun, le pays des lions. Voilà.
Sois dans la conversation. Il ne s'agit pas seulement de parler, mais c'est ta chance d'exprimer ton point de vue, de partager tes opinions et de t'engager avec une communauté qui valorise ton avis. Suivez-nous sur les réseaux sociaux, visitez notre site www.channelafrica.co.za et préparez-vous à partager vos points de vue sur Channel Africa, la perspective africaine. Parlez-vous couramment le français? Êtes-vous passionné par la radio? Et êtes-vous qualifié pour travailler en Afrique du Sud? Envoyez-nous votre CV et vos 3 minutes démo en MP3 à @channelafrica.co.za pour avoir une chance de rejoindre la famille Channel Africa. Si vous n'avez pas de réponse après 14 jours, cela signifie que vous n'avez pas été retenu. Channel Africa, la perspective africaine.
Heartlines. Your late night window into Africa's deep conversations. And lifestyle. We deliver an engaging Pan-African audience ready to connect, invest, and act. Multi-award winning, internationally recognized, digitally accessible across the globe. When Africa speaks, the world listens, and Channel Africa makes sure of it. For business, for culture, for Africa. Partner with Channel Africa because Africa's voice is the future. Africa is a story, a living, breathing, ever-evolving masterpiece. And for over 5 decades now, one voice has told it like no other. Channel Africa. More than just a broadcaster, Channel Africa is the pulse of the continent, African-led, African-run, and deeply rooted in its heritage. It's the only international station that speaks to Africa in its own voices. English, Kiswahili, Chinyanja, French, and Portuguese. The languages that unite 1 billion people. We have been there through every shift, every milestone, and every triumph. Not just reporting history, but shaping the conversations that define Africa's future. For brands, media planning, and advertisers, Channel Africa is more than just a platform. It's an opportunity. With 25 compelling shows covering current affairs, sports, business, music, and lifestyle, we deliver an engaging Pan-African audience ready to connect, invest, and act. Multi-award winning, internationally recognized, digitally accessible across the globe. When Africa speaks, the world listens, and Channel Africa makes sure of it. For business, for culture, for Africa. Partner with Channel Africa because Africa's voice is the future. Africa is a story, a living, breathing, ever-evolving masterpiece. And for over 5 decades now, one voice has told it like no other. Channel Africa. More than just a broadcaster, Channel Africa is the pulse of the continent.
Minutes past 11 Central African time. Yes, I wouldn't advise you to sleep just yet because we still have yet another interesting conversation. And this one signifies self-love. Let me remind you again, my friend, my name is Nolo Matlaila. I'm holding the fort down for Shayla, who is not here today, but don't you worry, she'll be back with you very soon. And yes, of course, I have been having interesting conversations, just how we do it right here on Heartlines. And if you are interested in being part of the conversation, remember our WhatsApp line is +2763 406 9126. Again, it's +2763 406 9126. And on our social media platforms, it's at Channel Africa, the numeric 1. That's where you can find us on Facebook as well as on Instagram and X. Remember, you can also find us on DSTV Audio Bouquet channel 802 and on OpenView we are at channel 628. Otherwise, you can make sure that you catch us at your fingertips anytime, anywhere, just by downloading our SABC Plus app. Before that, I did play you one of my favorite songs at the moment. It's called Joy. Joy is a song by Angelique Kidjo featuring Davido. I just love how Angelique Kidjo continues to reinvent herself. Despite how long she's been in the industry, she has proven to us that she is not ready to retire. And if it takes collaborating with younger musicians to keep her legacy alive and longevity within the music space, she's doing it quite well. Talking about reinventing oneself, I am joined today by a lovely lady. I came across her on the socials. I came across her on TV as she was busy competing for a pageantry called Miss Cavalicious. Now, let me quickly tell you why she was intriguing. This is an individual who, despite her later age, I'll leave it to her to reveal how old she is. She decided to revisit a childhood dream, and in her first try, she struck gold. And today, because of that one title, she is now moving into other spaces of things that she's always wanted to do, her philanthropic work, businesses that she's wanted to push. And we all know that a title can go quite a long way. I am speaking to Muraro, who is joining us on our live stream today. Muraro, I'm not quite sure which surname to use, so would you kindly do me the favor and let me know which surname you prefer me to work with today? Otherwise, welcome to Heartlines.
Thank you, PBT. I'm delighted to be on your show, and thank you. I'm Molalo Maputa.
Maputa. We will settle on that one. Thank you so much for clarifying that one for us. And Molalo,
okay,
thank you for making time for me. And I just love the fact that you're still looking pretty at this hour. You ladies are giving me so much pressure. Today, you're serving us with your crown. You're serving us with your sash. I mean, this just goes to show that you're dedicated to the work that you do. Muraro Maputa, your story is quite inspirational. Nobody could have seen it coming. Nobody could have seen it coming. The reason why I wanted to have you chatting to us on the show today is mainly because of, I would love to call you an advocate of self-love. And, the courage that you took one day. It's like you woke up one day and decided, you know what? I've raised my kids, man, and I'm running my businesses. How about I revisit that childhood dream of mine? And because it's a childhood dream, that will also give us insight into the child that you were. Tell us, where did you develop a love for pageantry? How did you know this is what you wanted to do? And I think most importantly, our listener would like to know, what is it that made you gravitate towards pageantry? Besides your beauty, of course.
Thank you once more. I'll say I loved being beautiful, like since I was young. It's just that I don't have my picture. When I was young, my toys I used to play with. I wanted these earrings.
Yes.
Wearing nice dresses. Playing with those lipsticks and what. So when I grew up, I just loved being beautiful. So I was inspired again I was living next to Vinolia Mashiro since I was born in Meadowlands, Zone 9.
Okay.
So Mashiro was always passing by every day on the gate when she would go to work, doing the gym early and what. So I used to watch those kind of people, and I was following Miss South Africa since I don't know, maybe 7, 8, 9 years. I was following Miss South Africa, where I will know every queen from 19 whatever when I started to watch, but now it went all out of the picture. But I'm back with
And
a
back with a
bang.
bang. And back with a bang. But I just want to quickly just solidify something here. So for our fellow African living anywhere in the world, or the African diaspora as a whole, if they needed to understand who is Moralo Maputa, where do you come from, and I guess if you were to tell us who you are, identify yourself, for somebody out there, maybe they're in the Togo Republic, right, and they're watching this live stream right now, aside from the title that you currently hold, who would you say Moralo is?
Okay, Mulalo is a woman from, let me start by saying I was born and bred in Meadowlands, Zone 9.
Okay.
In 1998, and then moved to Diepkloof. But I grew up in Hamasemula because I came here when I was in grade. It was standard 4. So I grew up here in Hamasemula until I finished my matric. Even though my matric, I've done it in a boarding school. I was not in Hamasemula full time, but I was here until it was Form 3 in our time.
Yes.
I'm a businesswoman, I'm a mother, and I'm a selfless person.
Mm-hmm.
I love and I love giving back to the community. I love spending time with kids, and I enjoy cooking it.
Yes.
And in my site, I cater. I have a internet shop.
Mm-hmm.
And another thing, I'm a hustler. I have a business like with my whole heart, because I everywhere since I've been doing business all the way.
Okay.
So that I sell for now.
Okay.
I just not doing anything.
Basically, you just don't like being stagnant.
Yeah.
All right. So I want to get to the crux of it, right? So I call you an advocate of self-love. Take us to the moment, Malalo, when you were probably looking into yourself in the mirror and you have just entered into a journey of self-love. And I'd like you to also share with us, when did you intentionally start taking action on practicing self-love? And when did that moment come to you that, you know what, I'm going to revisit my love for pageantry at the age that I am? Tell us about that moment, because I feel like that was your pivotal moment.
I think when it's time. Because as I recall, I was just sitting, it was like maybe this time, and I was just scrolling on my Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't start being Miss Kevelicious SA. I think this was intrigued by UD Fashion House. When I was scrolling on my Instagram, I found this competition of becoming an ambassador for UD Fashion House, which is the owner is Manyagu.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, you know what? Let me just enter. Then I think it started there that, you know what? I think we'll say now it's time to come out of your comfort zone and do what you love best. Because I loved painting all my heart. It's just that because of, I was saying, growing up, you'll have challenges, obstacles and everything, and then you forget about your passions and everything. But like I believe what happened with me, it was a reminder that it's never too late to do what you love best. So with you depression, I think that was my over working awakening for a body. Wake up, follow your dream. And today here I am wearing a crown and a sash, called Queen Miss Kevelicious SA, not Kevelicious. I used to tell people that when they say Miss Kevelicious, I say, oh no, I'm not just, I'm Miss Kevelicious SA.
SA. Thank you for dropping that one, I think what I want you to really zone into is this. In most cases, when a woman becomes a mother, they put their dreams aside. And or even a mother and a wife, you tend to put your dreams aside and you focus on, making your home. You focus on being the wife you need to be, being the mother that you need to be, being the pillar of strength for your children, your husband, right? And that's something that you don't even need to be asked to do. A woman tends to do that automatically, correct? So, and in most cases, women tend to forget that dream along the way. They tend to forget. I remember when I was young, I used to think I'd be an author. I remember when I was young, I once told myself that I was going to be a philanthropist and travel Africa and do A, B, and C, just like your Lady Dianes were doing, And because you're just so focused on homemaking, you forget your dreams. I want to find out specifically, what is it that turned you around? Was it maybe after a challenging period in your life? Was it maybe after seeing somebody doing it and you thought, you know what, I can too? I know you mentioned getting out of your comfort zone, okay? What is that comfort zone? Because I feel like your story can actually inspire that woman out there who's been sitting on her dreams for quite some time. And I think with your story, if you'd love to share the age, it does not matter the age. You can still get up and do that thing. I'm always inspired by people who go and finish their academic qualification despite the age, right? So I want to know from you, what pushed you, Molalo? What pushed you? Because you didn't really have a need for it. And you did mention that you wanted to get out of your comfort zone. But what pushed you? Or what is that comfort zone?
I think forgetting yourself along the way, be distracted by the ups and downs of life, having kids. Since I had my first born when I was 17.
Oh, okay.
I got age. I was 25 when I got married. And along the way, I realized that everything happened. I became a mother. I had too many responsibilities at a young age. And there was a lot of challenges, ups and downs, whatever that happened in my life, where I ended up forgetting exactly who I am. What is it that I want? What is my dream? But when time goes on, there's time where you read yourself and ask yourself, Mara, no, you've been through 1, 2, 3, you've been through stress, through depression, through everything. But that doesn't stop from being who you want to be. Because at the end of the day, you are the reason why you are you. And you are the reason which path of life you take. You want to stick on problems, or you just want to be that person you want to be. So I guess it's where I realized, you know what? They call me Boti. I'll say, Boti, I think it's time you what you do best. Because this is what I love, what I've been doing, even though I wasn't like on a social media. But I've realized that people are looking up to me. There are people who will come to me for advice. There are people who will wish me to do 1, 2, 3, and like motivations, events, and stuff. So I realized that, you know what, this is the path that God decided for you. So stand up and do that. And I'm not doing this for me alone. I'm doing it for every woman, every child who has dreams, who feels like it's too much for her. But at the end of the day, you need to fight that and pursue your dream. So, not forgetting that I my dream at the age of 6. This year I'm 47, and I'm still going to continue with my journey, making a mark, inspiring, and giving people hope that it's never too late. As long as you're still alive, you need to do something with your life.
You see, now you're talking. Now you're talking, because that's exactly what I wanted you to unlock, Molalo. That's what I wanted you to unlock. And now that we opened up that portal, let's get into it. So you said that there comes a point where you need to decide, do you want to sit in your depression? Do you want to sit in your troubles? Or do you want to change that? Ever so often, people, and not just women, but people succumb to becoming victims of their own circumstances, right? Especially if you have been dealing with the same challenge over and over again. And you end up saying, oh, well, I guess this is me. I guess I will never be the millionaire I want to be. Or you will say, oh, well, I guess this is me. I didn't finish school, so I will probably never be getting that academic qualification. I was hoping to be the first one in my family that does so. Or you might just say, oh, well, I guess this is me. I decided to marry this individual, and, you know, they say marriage is forever, so I have to stick it through. I don't have a choice. But what you just highlighted there is that every person has the will, the power, and the right to say, but I don't want this for myself. And despite the age I am, I can actually turn things around, right? I don't have to be a victim of my circumstances. Now, with that said, one could ask, then what is it that holds people back? What is it that makes people just eventually succumb to, you know, their situation and become victim of their circumstances? And I'd like to say, in most cases, it's the what will people say syndrome.
Yeah.
So I want to know then from you, Molalo. At 47, you are now entering a phase of UD, fashion house, you are entering pageants. What kind of criticism did you get from those around you? What kind of, what will people say, syndrome did you experience?
I'm one person. I don't entertain discrimination. And luckily, I don't have a lot of people. Maybe some are talking behind my back, but as long as you have your family support, you are good to go. Like one thing that can hold you back is when you don't get support from those close people who are around you, especially your kids come first. As I'm a mother, if I tell my kids, I want to do this, and they say, Mama, why? Mama, you are old, Mama, this. But my kids never said that. They said, you go for it, Mama. We'll support you. And they supported me through thick and thin. And every time when I tell them, I'm going to do this, help me with this, like we call ourselves the BBTs. But with the help of my kids, with the project that I was supposed to do for Miss Kevelicious, they were helping me. So first thing, you must have support from your family, because if you don't have it, that is you need to be a strong person to pursue what you want. Because let's say on my side, I never had that much discrimination, but there were those who will say, hey, leave these things, it's not for you, you are old, it's for young people.
Yes.
And then I'll say, in my mind, I'll say, you know what, you just don't understand.
Yeah.
I carry about know you know, but if you don't know, you don't know. So choose me. For you know what, no matter what people say, at the end of the day, that is my decision for it. I want to do this, I'm going to do it. And I always tell myself, for it, it's not me alone, or I'm not alone. There are other pageants, there are what. There are old people there. There are people my age who are doing those pageants, and then somebody will come, because especially the background where you come from. Like, I'm from a village. This Basamula, it's a village. Obvious people will, their mentality is not the same as the urban people mentality. I'm sorry to say that, but most of the people who are living in the village, they are, what do they call it in English? Stereotyped.
Thank you for choosing that word. I was going to help you with something better so we don't end up, sounding derogatory. Yes.
Yeah, so if you are not open-minded, you won't understand what other people do. That's why you won't understand if someone is acting up differently while she was like this. And most women, when they are depressed, they act differently from how we know them. So if you are not open-minded, you're going to judge. But if you are open-minded, you'll want to know why this person is doing this.
Wow.
So people must learn not to judge, but to analyze and know why this person ended up doing what she's doing. But we know that this person was not like this before. So judgmental is wrong.
I think in your case, you have some level of EQ, your emotional intelligence is on another level for you to not take the criticism to heart and actually just rather understand that they could be projecting or some other reason. Now, Monaro, I just, before we actually find out, where can people find out about you and the work you do under your title as Miss Kevelicious SA? I think what I wanted to let you know, if anything, not to find out, but to let you know that your story of revisiting your childhood dream at the age of 47 is very powerful, and don't undermine it. It liberates a lot of women who have decided to throw their dream away, no matter how small or big it can be. And so I'm just hoping that any woman sitting out there, maybe looking at her children sleeping in bed and thinking that's her only calling to life, and you cannot do anything else but be a mother and be a wife, just remember that you can still visit that dream despite how old you are, because people like Monaro Maputa is doing it very well, and she's aging gracefully too. I feel like you're aging in reverse. You're giving us a lot of pressure, okay?
Thank you for the compliment.
Yes, with such a pretty smile. So I want to know then, because now we have established that you are you ended up at Miss Kevelicious SA, and I'm hoping that you'll take it even further. Where can people find the work that you do, Monaro? And I think the best way to find out is your social media handles. And what are they? Where can people follow you and start cyber stalking you?
Okay, they can find me on Instagram as Molalo B Queen, on Facebook Molalo Maputa, on TikTok as Molalo Maputa. Another one is Alilali Events.
Yes.
Botis Hair and Beauty Salon.
Those are your businesses.
Beauty spa, yes.
That's beautiful. That is beautiful. So, is there a chance that somebody can possibly meet you at an event somewhere? Will we also pick up on the events that you attend on your social media platforms?
Can you repeat that?
Say somebody wants to meet you in person and they now start following your social media platforms. Will they be able to find out which events you'll be attending? Do you share that kind of information there as well? Say you will be in Joburg attending a specific event and they'd like to come and meet you in person and get a picture, because nowadays we don't get autographs, we get pictures. Okay? Will they be able to find that on your social media platforms as well?
On Friday, they'll find me right here in our village, Masamalai. There will be a award ceremony for the grade 12s. And then also I'll be at Morgan Muhlala's Foundation in Meropa later on Friday. And then next weekend on the what Saturday it will be when? It will be which date? The 9th, the 15th. The 16th, yes, I'll be in Queens of Purpose high tea party.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
And aside from just wearing the sash, we do get to hear you talk, right? Because your story is quite inspirational.
Would you what?
Do we get to hear you talk and share your journey? Yes. Are you a speaker at those events, or you're just an attendee to decorate the event?
The one that I'll be speaking is when. No, this time I don't have anything. It's just that I have my event August on the 16th. I'll be doing Women's Day, all gender. Because I'm one person who I love to inspire and educate, and I'm still learning.
Yes.
So, since I'm an event organizer.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Monaro, for joining us. And thank you for gracing us with your beautiful presence.
Thank you. And I really appreciate this opportunity. Like, I nearly cried when I see time was...
No, we wouldn't forget you. We did not forget about you. Don't you worry about that. All right. So I do hope that you heard her social media handles, and go ahead and follow her and put the face to the voice as well, in case you're not catching the live stream. Stick around. On the other side of this, we are going to find out what Morris has for us in store.
Ritmos e cultura com o embaixador da música africana e lusófona, Jacob Wakantivani.
Mombali nanga kasongo mbona wewe songa libala mbona wewe mombali nanga
tem sentido tanto a sua falta e do ritmos e cultura onde você esteve, meu querido embaixador.
É 2025 e o embaixador da música africana e lusófona, Jacob Wakantivani, traz todas as entrevistas com os músicos africanos e lusófonos para a melhor dança, entrevistas e entretenimento. Não perca! Todos os domingos, das 20 às 21 horas de Johannesburg, aqui no Canal África, a perspectiva africana.
Heartlines. Your late night window into Africa's deep conversations.
With 8 minutes left of the hour and the show, we're touching base with Morris to let us know what's happening on Africa Republic. Morris, are you shocked to hear this voice today?
They told me that, you know what, there is that Nolo in the building, and that I didn't have my horn to blow and just go boom, you know.
You know what? When you study the best doing it, it's very easy to come and step into their shoes and just keep it flowing the way they were flowing. Okay, so I guess I've been watching her for some time. So when she asked me to hold the fort down for her, I was like, you know what? Your broadcast practitioner is here to do the job.
You did a fantastic job, I must say.
Thank you so much, Morris.
How are you doing, though?
I'm doing great. I'm just also struggling with a little bit of a strained voice, but you know what? We work with our voices. We know how to heal them.
Yes. Otherwise, it's good to have you on the show. I certainly hope that Shayla is proud of you, and those that follow the show are also proud of you for that hosting that you did showcase today. Otherwise, Africa Way will be starting in the next coming 7 minutes. So we've got a fantastic show lined up. Fantastic music, I must say. Actually, I'm looking at my playlist, just the playlist alone. I've just discovered that it's a bit mixed. We have your old school and your new school, the type of sound that is actually telling a very clear story where Africa is going. Music from the likes of Nomfundo Mo. I've always said that, when you talk of Nomfundo Mo, there is no way that you can talk of African music and its future without making mention of her. We have the likes of Harmonize from Tanzania. We have the golden oldie in the form of the barefoot diva, Zeri Evora, and the late great Alifaka Tore. So it's a mixed bag of type of show. There's so much to look forward to as far as our music is concerned today.
Looking forward to it as well. Sounds interesting. So you're basically taking us to the future. Well, you're taking us to the past and then taking us to the future in one show.
Yes, in one show.
Love it.
One show. For one to have a very clear understanding of where they are going, you need to know where you're coming from.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Well said, my sir.
Thank you very much. Have a safe flight. Are you back again tomorrow? Will you be standing in tomorrow?
No, but I'll be back on the show. I'm sticking with her throughout the week. So yes, I'll be back tomorrow. I'll be seeing you either on the other side or on this side, but I will be here.
All right, fantastic. Have a lovely one.
All right, then. Looking forward to your show, Morris. And that's what you can catch on Afro Republic. I am quite interested. You know what? I'm a sucker for African music, right? And in case you need to know why, well, that's because I also do a show on Saturday called The Africa Chat Toppers, okay? From 12 to 2 p.m. And I think this is where I can love you and leave you. Had a great time with you. Thank you for choosing us above the rest right here on Channel Africa, where we continue to give you the African perspective. My name is Nolo Matlaila, and this is how I sign out saying Shalom, Shalom.
Led, African run, and deeply rooted in its heritage. It's the only international station that speaks to Africa in its own voices: English, Kiswahili, Chinyanja, French, and Portuguese. The languages that unite 1 billion people. We have been there through every shift, every milestone, and every triumph. Not just reporting history, but shaping the conversations that define Africa's future. For brands, media planning, and advertisers, Channel Africa is more than just a platform. It's an opportunity. With 25 compelling shows covering current affairs, sports, business, music, and lifestyle, we deliver an engaging Pan-African audience ready to connect, invest, and act. Multi-award winning, internationally recognized, digitally accessible across the globe. When Africa speaks, the world listens, and Channel Africa makes sure of it. For business, for culture, for Africa. Partner with Channel Africa because Africa's voice is the future. Africa is a story, a living, breathing, ever-evolving masterpiece. And for over 5 decades now, one voice has told it like no other. Channel Africa. More than just a broadcast.